friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name is Ashley and happy almost Valentine's Day. Look at how stinking cute this is. And it is made out of just cardstock. So I have plain red cardstock and white glitter cardstock found in my cardstock warehouse, and I'm going to teach you how to make this today inside the Siser Leonardo program using our Siser craft cutting machines. Now I'm going to be using a Juliet. If you have a Romeo, you can do the same. You can do this project. It's all the same steps. You're just going to have a different machine to cut it on. The beauty of this project is if you're brand new to the Siser craft cutting machines, this is a beginner project. We only need 2 sheets of paper, so it's going to be super easy and simple. And then we're going to be able to play around in the Leonardo program just to get our bearings straight inside the Leonardo program and also how to use our machines. So not only are you going to need 2 sheets of cardstock, you're also going to need some leftover ribbon that you probably have laying around, and then just a wooden dowel. This right here is like a fat one. Small ones will work too. You're going to need a little bit of hot glue and regular paper glue too. All right, are you ready to get started? Let's go. Okay, the very first thing you want to do is open up the Siser Leonardo program and have a blank canvas. The beauty of this project is I've actually already created the SVG file of the waving flag for you. So if you're already over at my cardstock warehouse and buying the cardstock, make sure to go into the digital downloads to get this file for free. Then what you want to do, once you've downloaded it, you want to press Command I or come up here into File and then press Import. Okay, you are going to want to find that SVG file, which is this one right here, and we're gonna press Open. Okay, it should already be checked for you, but just in case, because I've saved this original file as an SVG file, you're gonna wanna make sure that this right here is set to editable artwork. Then all you wanna do is press Apply. That was it. So to import an SVG file over into Siser Leonardo program, you had to do 2 buttons. Import and apply. Okay, the next thing you want to do is size this. I'm going to make this about 12 inches big because I want like a large pennant. So I'm just going to take this and just make it a little bit bigger. You also could come down here and change the width over to 12 inches. Now for me personally, I am not going to change the height over. If you wanted it to make this like a taller flag, you totally could. You would just want to cut over here into the lock, unlock that, and then you can change the height over and press return. So you can see how it just changed the look of the flag. You didn't have to if you didn't want to. Now the beauty of this project is if you did want to change the size or do a different size, that's fine, because all the steps that we take together are all going to be the same. So if you wanted a longer flag or a higher flag, just change your size over to the size that you want. Okay, for this next one, I have XOXO for this flag. I have 2 kids, so I have to make a second flag, and I don't want it to be the same exact thing as what I have here. So I'm gonna do love you. So because I want to put in some letters and I want it to say love you, you can do anything. If you wanted to do XOXO, you totally could, because it's gonna be the same steps. Okay, we're gonna click out of that flag. Then I'm gonna go over here into the text box and I'm gonna click this T. Now at this point, you're gonna want to put in your lettering. I'm gonna do all caps, so I'm gonna do caps locks, and I'm gonna do love you. Now, what you want to do is select the font that you want to use. So over here on the left is going to be all the fonts that you have installed into your computer. So just pick a font that you like the most. I do have to say the hardest part of any project is picking the font. It is not easy, especially for me. I don't know what it is. Picking the font is always the hardest. There's always so many good ones. Okay, once you've found the one that you want, I am going to click this auto weld text. I do not want to weld this. Then I'm going to press apply. Let's just move this up. Now I'm going to change the color over just to a different color so we can see what we're doing. Okay, then what I want to do is I'm going to move this in, and I'm just going to put this inside, in between, you see this white right here, this white area, and then over here, I want to put it inside the white area. It's not going to fit. That's okay. We're going to make it fit here in a minute. All right, so my text box fits within this little parameter right here inside the white of that. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click this, I'm gonna go to paths, and I am going to ungroup paths. If we click out of that and we click back into just the L, do you see how the L and the O and everything is separated? That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, I am going to click on the L and I'm going to double click it. You see how now we have little dots here? So let's just select the very top of this and I'm going to drag these up. See how I'm making my L a little distorted? Now I'm going to just select the bottom of the L and I'm going to drag it down. And now I want this corner to come down a little bit, so I'm just going to drag this down. Okay, when we're done adjusting our letter L or whatever letter you've chosen, then you want to press this little arrow button. Okay, now we can click out of that. Doesn't that look kind of cute? Okay, let's take my little magnifying glass and I'm just going to zoom in on our pennant just so we can really see what we're doing here. Okay, going over into the O, I'm going to do the same thing. Click the O, double click it. Now we're going to have these are called nodes. I'm going to drag this top node and I'm going to put it up here. Now the beauty of nodes in the Leonardo program is we've dragged this up, right? If you wanted to make this a little bit funkier, see how we can move this around a little bit? So you could totally just move your letters and your nodes and your lines a little bit more. I am just going to drag this up for right now, right in the middle. Okay, we're going to take this bottom one and drag it down. And I'm going to fit this inside, looking kind of cute. Okay, when I like the look of that O, I am just going to click that arrow button. Now I think I've decided that I want the corner to get dropped down a little bit in my L. So I'm going to double click my L again, taking my corner and I'm going to drop it down. And then I think I'm going to come up to the very top right here and drag this up. And we'll do the same with the left. I'm just going to make this a little bit more curved. Okay, I'm done with the letter L, so I'm just going to press the arrow button. Going into the V, I'm going to double click the V, and I'm just going to select all the nodes on the very left of that V, and I'm going to drag this up and put this in place. Going to the very left and doing the same thing. The cool thing with Leonardo is that we have the ability to change fonts exactly the way we want. Now, I'm not really liking the way this O looks like, so I'm going to go back into the arrow tool, clicking and double clicking that, and I'm just going to move this over. Okay, now what you want to do is the same thing that we've done for the LOV. All the letters that you have, you want to fit them inside your pennant. Let's see what this looks like. Let's press that 100. Okay, I like the look of this. However, there's gonna be this like spot right here that we don't like, right? So let's go over here into the draw shapes and we're gonna insert a heart. Let's just click a heart anywhere. Now what we wanna do is we're gonna drag this into place and let's resize this. I'm gonna make sure that this right here is locked and I'm gonna resize this into my pennant. I love the look of this. Okay, now at this point, you are going to want to recolor your colors on your screen to fit the colors that you're going to be using in the cardstock. So for my original one, I used red plain cardstock and white glitter cardstock. However, the way that this is looking right now, I actually really like the pink background with the red letters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my pennant. I'm going to right click and I'm going to press ungroup, because I want to change the white outline over to the same red that we are using for that lettering. So with the white clicked, I'm going to come over here into this white little swatch, click on it, and see how we have the colors that are in use right now. Red is the colors in use. So I'm going to click the red and press apply. So now I am going to still only be using 2 sheets of cardstock, but I'm going to pull a pink from my cardstock warehouse and then I'm going to be using lipstick red for the love you part. It's going to look absolutely fabulous. Okay, so at this point, now all you want to do is press send design. We want to make sure that all artwork that fits on the page, everything that we have here fits on the page. And we're gonna move everything over to origin. What that means is over in the Siser, we are gonna be using our heading mat for this because we are using cardstock. When you use cardstock, you have to use a cutting mat because you don't wanna ruin your machines. That being said, if you are a Cricut user, everything in the Cricut always goes in the top left. However, in Siser Leonardo program, everything goes into the bottom left of your Siser. So moving things to origin just means that you're gonna move, right now we have it in the center of our screen. Everything is gonna get moved down to the bottom left. You could keep it in the page location if you wanted to, but I am just going to move each color to the origin and press send. Okay, so now what your screen is going to look like is something like this, which does not look like what we had over in the design process. That's okay. We have two mats right here, the far left. We need a dark red. That's going to be our lipstick red glitter cardstock. And then our second mat is going to be the light pink plain cardstock. So what you want to do now is go turn on your Siser craft cutting machines and get that connected. When you have your Siser machine turned on and ready to go, then what you want to do is pull out those 2 sheets of cardstock that we're going to use. Okay, so with your machine turned on, you're going to come to the back and there is going to be a black lever. I'm going to move that into the downward position. I'm going to stick my mat in and I'm going to line up the base of my mat with the base of my machine. Let's just make sure that your mat is nice and straight loaded into your machine. When I have that, I'm going to push my lever, pull it up so it's in the upward position. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my blade to the center of my material. So put it right here in the corner. So I'm just going to use my arrows on my touchpad to put it in the corner. Okay, at this point, you're going to want to choose your cut settings. So what you want to do is come over here to your machine and press the cut settings. Now at the very top, mine says plain cardstock. I'm going to click that and I already have figured out what the cut settings are for my glitter cardstock. The settings that I use will be listed in the description of this video, so it could be good starter points for you. But this is my glitter cardstock, so I'm just going to press glitter cardstock and press load. Okay, now going back over to the computer. Okay, what we're going to do now is making sure that we are on the red glitter cardstock mat, so that's going to be my dark red. Then all I'm going to do is press send to cutter and press yes. Okay, now that that's done, I'm just going to push that lever down in the very back and I'm going to pull my mat out. Now I have a secondary mat already prepped, so I'm just going to move that one aside and I'm going to load in this mat doing the same thing as I did before. Lining it up with the very base of my machine, putting that lever up, and then I'm going to line up the corner of my blade to the corner of my material. Now this time I'm using plain cardstock. So then the same thing we've done before is I'm going to change my cut setting. So I'm going to go into the glitter cardstock, choosing my plain cardstock setting and press load. Then going back to the computer, we want to click on the light pink. And now that you have that done, you just want to press send to cutter and press yes. Okay, now that we have our pieces of cardstock cut out, you're going to want to plug in your hot glue gun. Then all you want to do is take your cardstock off of your mats. Now for the red, because we have some thin pieces, I'm just going to take off the pink for right now. And I'm only going to do the outline of the red. Then what I'm going to do is using some of my craft white glue, I'm going to put just glue down just the white portion of the backer of my flag. Now we don't need a whole lot of glue because cardstock is supposed to lay flat naturally. So you don't want to overload your glue onto the back of your pennant. That way when it dries not nice and clear and you won't have like glue marks everywhere. So we have that and we're going to put this on top of here, centering it onto our flag. Now, we worked really hard on the spacing of our letters. So what I'm going to do now is taking the outside of my letters of my very big piece. I'm going to put it over here, just like that. I'm going to take my L and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down my L and fit it into place right here. This helps with spacing, but also we worked really hard to make sure our letters looked exactly the way we wanted to and spaced exactly the way we wanted to. So we want to make sure that it all lines up at the very end. So we're going to glue down all of our letters inside the spacing of the love. Okay, when you have the first part glued down, you just want to take that and move that away. Okay, going over into the second part, I'm going to take the big piece of the pennant and just place that into place. I did not put glue down on that. And we're going to do the U. Okay, when we have that glued down, you just want to move the big portion out of the way. And there is our Love You flag completely made out of cardstock. Look at how beautiful that is. So pretty. And everything is spaced out exactly how you laid it out in the Leonardo program because we use these as our guide. So now the fun part, we are going to, just before we put on our stick, I'm going to take some of this like ribbon stuff that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to take my glue gun. I'm only going to put a bead of glue down just the edge right here, moving fast because hot glue does dry pretty fast. I'm going to lay this on top of my bead of glue and pushing down. Make sure not to get your fingertips because you will burn your fingertips. Okay, when that's done, all you want to do is flip this over, taking your scissors, and we are going to trim the excess of our ribbon off. And when we turn this around, look at how cute. Just gives it a little bit of extra. You definitely don't need to add this. If you don't have it on hand, you definitely did not need to add that on there. Since I had it, I just wanted to put a little bit of extra on there, and it just makes it look so stinking cute. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to glue this about halfway to the middle of the flag. You could do it all the way if you wanted to, but I'm just going to do it in the half just because these sticks aren't very long. So I want to ensure that I have a long enough stick to put in their gift bags. So I'm going to take a bead of hot glue down just that little edge right there. And we're going to place the stick down onto the pennant. Okay, now that this is dried, we can flip this over. And taking a little bit, I have some tulle, pink tulle. You just want to use whatever ribbon that you have on hand. You don't, I mean, if you need to go out and buy some, cool. If not, and you just have a bunch of ribbon that you have on hand, use that too. I am someone that loves to use supplies that we have on hand. Okay, so I just have all the ends kind of grouped together, and we're just going to wrap this around. And I want to make these kind of on the longer side, and I'm just going to tie. Then I am going to cut off the ends, keeping them nice and long. Now, you could just do one. That's full enough. However, I want to go a little bit more. So I'm going to do another section. Doing the same thing. We're going to wrap this around. And let's see here. I have this thicker red piece. It's just a small little piece. So I'm going to line it up with that and tie this around. Okay. And then I'm just going to trim off the ends. I'm going to scoot this up. I didn't tie this very tight because it was getting kind of jumbled up in the mess of the rest of the ends. But I'm just going to scoot this up, and then I'm going to pull this second knot just tight. And then you can rearrange your ribbons so they fall differently. Didn't this just turn out so stinking cute? And then here is the very first one that I made. So 2 different colors, but two different looks, but oh my gosh, these are so stinking cute, and they're going to be perfect for little bag toppers for my kids' Valentine's Day gift. Oh my gosh, I love how these turned out. All right, y'all, I sure hope I inspired you to create, and I'll see you later.